A man has just collapsed on the floor. He has no pulse and is not breathing. Would you and the people around you be prepared to deal with this type of situation? That's where the importance of CPR comes in. CPR should become mandatory in schools to help students deal with future life-saving events. Imagine yourself sitting next to a friend or a family member when suddenly they collapse. I know you would want to do anything you can to help them. I have been CPR certified since I was a senior in high school. I just renewed my CPR certification this last April, so I really do know the importance of knowing these skills. So today we're going to talk about what is CPR and why is it needed. Then we're going to go ahead and talk about adding CPR to our students' curriculum. And then we're going to finish off with knowing the benefits of actually having mandatory CPR classes in our students' curriculum, okay? So what is CPR and why is it needed? Well, let me first start off with the 5 steps in the chain of survival, okay? First step, recognizing cardiac arrest while one person is calling 911 and the other is getting an AED, an automatic electronic defibrillator, okay? Step 2, chest compressions. Step 3, rapid defibrillation. 4, basic and advanced emergency medical services. And 5, advanced life support and post-cardiac care. The last 2 steps are done by medical professionals more in a hospital-based setting, so it's not necessarily something that you will actually be dealing with. So what is CPR? What does it stand for? CPR stands for cardiopulmonary resuscitation. It's the act of giving chest compressions to restore oxygenated blood back into your vital organs. Chest compressions are caused by pressure in your chest cavity. It's about 2 inches deep, and it keeps that blood flowing when the heart's not doing it itself at about 120 rates per minute. So what is the biggest need for CPR? The biggest need is cardiac arrest. Cardiac arrest is the unexpected heart loss function, causing no blood flow, no breathing, and becoming unconscious. CPR allows the victim to keep the oxygenated blood flowing while awaiting medical personnel. Another example of actually needing CPR is if somebody is choking. You do learn in CPR classes how to do the Heimlich remover. They'll teach you that. They'll also teach you CPR for infants and toddlers. So you'll know all of that, but when someone is choking, say you can just are doing the Heimlich, it is just not working, they will eventually go unconscious. They can't get any oxygen in. They'll eventually go under. So once that happens, you will have to lay them down on the ground and perform CPR just like a cardiac arrest patient. So it's really important that you know both. They'll also teach you all this in the classes. So now that you know a little bit more about CPR and why it's needed, I know you understand the importance of having mandatory CPR classes in school. So let's go ahead and discuss how we're actually going to add those classes in the school, okay? So adding CPR to our students' curriculum. How can it be added? Well, every student in order to graduate high school has to take a mandatory health class. This is the perfect class to take the CPR classes. Everybody has to do this class anyways. It's kind of like, it fits in with health and learning about things. It fits into that, so it's a really good class. Usually outside of school in a regular program for first-time CPR certification, it usually takes about 3 to 4 hours long to just complete everything. So this can actually be broken up in a few days for the school because classes are only about an hour long. That's okay, we can break it up in a few classes. Who's going to teach these classes? Well, teachers, in order to become teachers, do have to already have CPR training. They'll either have to go ahead and become instructors by getting, more training, or they will, if the school wants, actually bring outside instructors and go ahead and bring them into the school to teach. There's a lot of different organizations that does teach CPR in big groups, like American Heart Association, the American Red Cross, and many others. So now that you see CPR is very easily added to your students' curriculum, let's discuss how this will benefit everybody. So the benefits of having CPR become mandatory in school. Students now understand how to perform in a very intense situation. They're able to stay calm and be knowledgeable of what's actually going on. instead of panicking and just not knowing what to do, because that does happen quite a lot. They'll also be able to be more dependent and confident with these new skills that they learn. Another benefit, it could possibly save your life. 500,000 people annually die from cardiac arrest. But now that you've made the right choice in making CPR mandatory in school, we can decrease those numbers annually. So in conclusion, today we have talked about knowing what CPR is and why it's needed. We've talked about adding CPR to our students' curriculum. And finally, the benefits of actually having CPR. So now that you want CPR classes to be mandatory in school, many people will now be able to perform a life-saving event and potentially save thousands of lives annually. If you do agree with this, go ahead and sign my petition, and we will get this over to Governor Gavin Newsom, who will hopefully pass this, and together we can make this change. Now I know you'd want to do the best for your family and future generations, so I know they will be super thankful that you're making mandatory CPR classes.